In this video, I'll show you how to conduct a biblical word study of an English, Greek, or even Hebrew term using one advanced tool that brings together all the right resources from your Logos library. First, let's imagine you want to perform an in-depth study on a key word from the Bible, like the English term life found here in John 14:6. To see everything your library has to say on this term, let's create a Bible word study guide. Right-click the term life, select the term from the right-hand side of the context menu, and then choose Bible Word Study from the left. This action creates a comprehensive report on this key term, combing through articles in my Bible dictionaries, surfacing references on how it's used in the Hebrew Bible as well as the Greek New Testament, exposing key phrases containing the term, and so much more. To launch a Bible word study independently, open the Guides menu and select it from the list that appears. Once it's open, input the term you want to study. You can enter an English term, Greek lemma, or Hebrew lemma. For Greek, begin by typing G followed by a colon and then the transliterated form of the word. For Hebrew, enter an H followed by a colon and then the transliterated form. For now, let's focus in on the report Logos created on the term life. In the topics section, we can quickly scan and open informative articles from our Bible dictionaries. The first one in my list is from Easton's Bible Dictionary, which informs us that the term life is fairly flexible with four main meanings: immortality, conduct, spiritual life or salvation, and eternal life. Feel free to look at other entries for further study. A little lower in the report, we discover Hebrew terms that are translated life in the Old Testament. From the graph, it's easy to spot the two main terms that English Bible versions render as life: Hai and nephesh. To dig a little deeper into where these terms are translated as life, simply click the term and Logos provides you with a complete list of references below. In the Greek translation section, we have the same level of analysis, only this time we're able to see the Greek terms rendered as life in English versions. But before selecting one of the terms from the graph, notice the spark graph in the top right. It tells us that there are 201 instances where a Greek term is translated as life. As I move my cursor across the graph, I can quickly see where and how often the term appears in each book of the New Testament. From the graph, we discover that the term life is overwhelmingly used for the Greek term zoe. In fact, when I select this Greek lemma, Logos informs me that out of the 201 occurrences, life comes from the term zoe 132 times. Now again, that's an analysis of every New Testament occurrence. To narrow this down a bit, return to the top of the report and open the drop-down that says All Passages. Input John into the box and press Enter. Now when I scroll down to the Greek section, Logos tells me that there are only 3 Greek terms translated as life in the Gospel of John. Again, select the Greek lemma zoe to reveal every occurrence below. Notice from the first occurrence that this lemma appears twice in John 1:4, and while John typically uses the term in reference to salvation or eternal life, he uses it here in a broader sense, in reference to the life of creation. In other words, this use of the word shows us how broadly the term can be used. As stated before, we can run additional Bible word studies on Greek terms as well. To do this, we could simply click the head word zoe, or we can jump to a fresh report and enter the term using G, followed by a colon, followed by the transliteration Z-O-E. When I enter the term, Logos gives us a few options in the drop-down menu. Select the term you want, and Logos will launch a new Bible word study. Notice the new sections that appear in this report. Starting at the top, Logos shows a spark graph of how many times this term occurs in the Greek New Testament, followed by a list of links to our Greek lexicons. Click the link and Logos will open your lexicon to the exact entry. Below this list of links, we can see every form that this lemma takes using morphology charts. Next, we see 2 separate translation sections, one that shows us how zoe is translated in an English version, and another that shows us the Hebrew terms rendered as Zoe in the Septuagint. With each of these sections, you can change the version by clicking the Settings drop-down and enter the translation you'd like to use. Notice how many different translations of Zoe appear in the New Living Translation. Below that, Logos shows us the root of the Greek lemma and how many other terms share this same root. In the sense section, Logos gives us the semantic range, or range of meanings for the Greek term. Like the translation sections, you can click the meaning from the graph, and Logos will provide a list of occurrences below. For example, the sense section lists life as a state as one sense of Zoe, and it gives Acts 8:33 as an example. His life is taken away from the earth. But heaven, in regards to life, is also a sense of Zoe, listed in this sense section. The way is hard that leads to life, is one example given. This is not life as a state, but rather a metonymous reference to heaven, one that's commonly found in the Gospels. A little further down, we have the clause participants section, which works incredibly well when you're examining Greek and Hebrew verbs, along with a section that lists prepositional uses and key phrases containing this term. Finally, at the bottom, we have a list of links to biblical references and other ancient literature that contain references to this Greek term. So, for example, when I click the link to Josephus, Logos opens a new search and lists every occurrence of Zoe in his collection of writings. To view these hits in English, use the Add Version box to input the title of the English text, and Logos will display the results in both versions. We discover a word's meaning by its usage. So, if you want to know what the primary Greek term for life means, this is the first step. Examine how the New Testament writers, the translators of the Septuagint, and other Koine writers such as Josephus actually use it. Most often, as with Zoe, you'll discover that the term can be very flexible, just like in English, and that context provides the clues for what a given writer means when he uses it. So to see everything your library has to say on a Greek, Hebrew, or English term, use the powerful Bible Word Study Guide report to launch your next study.